Hello friends, my name is Prof. Dahat and I am working here in Rao Bahadur Narayan Rao Boroke College, Srirampur, which is in Ahmednagar district. Today we are heading towards the part 4 of our chapter Semiconductor Devices. In previous lectures parts, we have seen the special purpose PN junction diodes, and in that there is one special purpose PN junction diode, which is the light emitting diode, which is commonly called as the LED, which we use in our daily life. The basic principle of this LED is which emits the light when the large forward current passes through it. This is the diode. It emits the light. It emits the light when the forward current passes through it. When we bias this diode in a forward bias, then it emits the light when the forward current is passed through it. Its symbol is such that this triangle shape is the anode of the LED, is the anode, and the second electrode is the cathode, which emits the light. This is the symbol of this LED. Now let us see the schematic structure of the LED. let us see the schematic structure of LED. In this LED, the making of this diode is different from the normal diode. This diode is made in a special way, inside which there is a p-n junction, and the n region of this diode is heavily doped. N region is heavily doped. Okay. In this LED, there is this p-n junction is enclosed in the case which is made up of the epoxy material, which is transparent. This case is the transparent. It has the shape like a dome. It is a dome shape, and transparent case is there, in which this p-n junction is kept, so that this case is such that the light, when this p-n junction emits the light, it is uniformly distributed, and the internal reflection of that light is minimized. Then it has the two electrodes connected to the two regions, one electrode at the p region and another electrode at the n junction. For what? It is to provide it in a electrical circuit. These electrodes are constructed in this LED to mount it in a electrical design or in a electrical circuit. Beside these two electrodes, there are more than these two electrodes, or such as 3 electrodes or 4 electrodes. These electrodes are for what? Providing the multicolor LED, okay, in the same package. There are more than 3, 4 or 6 electrodes are there, which gives the multicolor LED in the same package. And the material of which this LED is made such that there is no absorption of the light. When this light is emitted through the LED, there is no absorption of the light, and the material which is used in this LED, where the electron and hole combination takes place at the surface of the LED. In such a manner, the LED is constructed, which has the dome-like structure, which is transparent and made up of the epoxy material. There, wire bond is there between this p-n junction. One reflecting cavity is arranged in this LED. Let us see the working of this LED with the help of the working of the LED with the help of the block diagram. Here P region is there, this is the p-type material, or p region is there, and it is diffused with the n region, which is highly doped, and this diode is in a forward bias. That means the positive terminal of this battery is connected to p-type and negative terminal of the battery is connected to the n-type of the battery. When we bias this diode in a forward biasing, there is the formation of the depletion layer. This is the depletion region. Okay, here the formation of the positive holes and with it is the forward current flows through this LED, then it emits the light. In this LED, what happens? There is the recombination of the holes. Recombination of the electron and holes in the depletion region here. When the forward current flows through this PN junction diode, which is the LED light emitting diode, the electrons in the conduction band, it recombines with the holes in the valence band of the semiconducting material, and when this forward current starts to flow through this junction, okay, it starts to emit the light. The thin layer of this junction because of this thin layer of the junction, the photons leave the junction and it emits the colored light. This light which is emitted is directly proportional. This emitted light, is directly proportional to the current passing through it. The materials which is used to fabricate is such that it is a compound material of the various elements, such as this LED is fabricated with the help of various elements, such as the compound semiconductor is used. Compound semiconductor is used for the receiving the multicolors from the LED. The such elements are which is aluminium, arsenic, gallium, and the phosphorus. These type of elements are used to produce the different wavelengths from the LED, that means different colors from the LEDs. When the proportion of the aluminium gallium and the phosphorite, it emits the infrared radiations. It emits the infrared when the element aluminum gallium phosphoride is used in the semiconductors, it emits the infrared light, and when the gallium when the element such as aluminum, gallium and arsenide is used, it emits the infrared radiation, and when the element gallium, arsenic and phosphorite, gallium, arsenium and phosphorite is used, it emits the red yellow light. It emits the red yellow light, and when the elements such as the aluminum, gallium, phosphoride is used, it emits the red green light. When the element such as the zinc selenide is used, it emits the blue light. Such a type of combination of the compounds is used in the semiconductor to achieve the multiple colors through the LEDs. Now, the characteristic of the LED. When we plot the graph of the current and the voltage, IV characteristic of LED on x-axis, if we plot the voltage, and on the y-axis we plot the graph, we get the voltage 1 volt, 2 volt, 3 volt, 4 volt and the 5 volt. Okay, and we get the output current I, which is in a milliampere, okay, from 10 milliamp, 20, 30, 40 and the 50. The IV characteristic of this LED is like the normal diode. The characteristic of the LED is equal to the normal PN junction diode. As we go on increasing the voltage, the current increases in this manner. Now let us discuss about the advantages of this LED. the advantages of the LED. The first advantage of this LED, it is the energy efficient. LED is the energy that means this LED uses the less amount of energy to function. The lesser is the amount used to operate this light emitting diode, and it produces the illumination. Again, this LED is durable. It has the long life. LED has the long life. It can be operated over the 50,000 hours. This LED can work for the 50,000 hours. The third advantage of this LED is it is rigid in nature. Because there is no any tube or filament or any kind of wire is used in this LED. So, and this LED is the solid state device. It is a solid state device. It doesn't use any filament tube or any type of wire inside it. So that the LED is not breakable as quick. It doesn't break quickly. It is rigid in nature. LED and the response of LED is very quick. Again, the fourth advantage, this LED starts to conduct in nanoseconds. Its response is very quick. As we provide the biasing to the diode, it quickly starts to emit the light. Its response is very quick. It responses within the some nanoseconds. And the next advantage of this LED is the light color rendering. The light of the LED which is emitted by the LED, they never get fade off. They remains as intact as they were manufactured initially. Their color doesn't fade off as we use them many times. And the next advantage of this LED is these LEDs are the environmental friendly. There is no hazardous material is involved in this LED. Okay, these are the environmental friendly, which is the advantage of the LED. And the last advantage of this LED is we can control these LED or the illuminations of the light which is coming out of this diode. We can control it. This is what the main which is the advantage of this LED. Now let us talk about the disadvantages. disadvantage of this LED is what? There is the hazardous blue light. The LED which is manufactured for the blue light, it gives the hazardous blue light which affects the eye. Continuous exposure of this blue light can affect the vision of the human eye. Again, this LED is the temperature dependent, as the all diodes are the temperature dependent. Okay, the high exposure of the temperature to this LED can damage the LED. This is what the disadvantage of the LED. Again, this LED is very much voltage sensitive. Any change in the voltage any change in the voltage it changes the output of the LED. It is very sensitive to the voltage. And the next disadvantage of this LED, while manufacturing it, initial cost of manufacturing it is very high. Its initial manufacturing cost is high. This is what the disadvantages of the LED. Let us see the usefulness or its applications of the LEDs. Where this LED is used, let us see the applications of this LED. This LED is used in the burglar alarm or in a counters. Okay, this LED is used in a burglar alarms. Again, these LEDs are used in a counters. In various counting machines, these LEDs are used there. Again, this LED is used in optical communications. These light emitting diode are used in a optical communication system. Again, these LEDs are used in indicator lamps in electrical equipments. This LED is used in electrical equipments as an indicator in again, this LED is used in the decorative domestic or the decorative illumination in the house. Decorative or the domestic illumination. this LED is used in the display screen which we see in the hotels or outside the shops. Outside the shop where we see the display screens, there are several usage or the applications of this LED. Again, we all know these LEDs are used in the display of the cell phones. This LED is used in the display of the cell phones. Nowadays, there are LED TVs we commonly use. Okay. This is the one application. Again, we see there are street lamps are now in the LEDs available. Again, we use these LEDs in the street lamps. We use these LEDs in the street lamp because of it has the advantage. It is the energy efficient, so that we can the energy which is consumed by these lamps in the street are very less, and we can save the energy. These are the applications of the LEDs. In this way, we have seen the what is the LED. It is a special purpose junction diode, its construction and its working, its characteristic, some advantages and disadvantages, and the application of LED. Thank you.